Hey, we're here for part two. We live off when it's the next morning, and the brothers are, I guess, on the bed talking and whatnot, and Iyanla downstairs cooking, and everything is chill, and all of a sudden the boys are getting a conversation.
Why was I excited just seeing her cooking breakfast? I'm like, it's gonna be a good day. Maybe I was hungry.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah, that's the best smell, breakfast, boy. Yeah. Waking up to...
And then like a full breakfast. Not like, me with bacon and eggs or a pancake stick, in a microwave. This was like she was cooking.
Like she was
country heads cooking. I was proud.
And so, while she's in there, they talking and per usual, Melvin and Markis get into it.
Yeah.
And they get in this heated discussion and had to be broken up by Marvin, the other brothers.
Yeah.
And Iyanla like, what
what's going
on now? We it's supposed to be a good day.
Yes, we were making progress, and they started rehashing the same conversation that they had the other day, which got them to the same argument.
And Marcus and Melvin get into it, and so Marvin takes Marcus out, and they go off out of the room, and Iyanla comes.
Well, remember, before they could even leave, Iyanla came in, and she was like telling Marvin, let Marcus go, because she wanted him to like calm down on his own. Mm-hmm. And then she's telling Melvin, shut your mouth.
Yeah, like it was somebody's mama.
She walked up to him in his face, shut your mouth. I know he felt some type of way about that, because he seemed like he's the one that will pop off in a minute.
Yeah,
but I feel like I agree with her in this moment, because he seems like the one who's able to control himself the most. And you already know that your brother has anger issues. So if you're the more controlled one, you should be the one to calm down. Let's let the situation die down. Why go to that level? And so I agree with her going, even though I'm like, that's kind of harsh. Shut your mouth. Like, don't be telling me to shut up.
She said about 5 times to him.
He shut up
eventually.
But he still had something to say when they left. And yes, they got him out the room.
They got him, to calm him down.
Yeah.
And like you said, she was like, tell him to shut up. And so she sat down with Melvin, and she's like, you got this little bite on you. Mm-hmm. Where does this come from? And then, he said it comes from, his foster mother and family. They always talked about him. He said, if I just happen to look at a dude, he said, I always had feminine, ways.
Yeah.
And so if I just happen to look at somebody, they call him faggot and stop looking at him and threaten them and
asking if are you trying to want this guy to have sex with you or something like that?
And he was like,
he don't know nothing about that.
He was like 10 years old or something. He's like, what I'm supposed to, what? I don't know nothing about this. Yeah. And you called me faggot and all this stuff, and he said, now, he feels liberated to speak his mind now.
Yeah, he says he's not gonna let people, take advantage of him anymore. But he accepts it from his brothers, because I think he said Marcus called him out his name. Yeah, when they were arguing. I accept him, because I love him, but I ain't got to be with him. He said, I can leave this place and never speak to them or see them again.
That's still not good.
Right? It's not.
The man is calling out your name,
because that means that we haven't really progressed. You just stopped dealing with the situation. We haven't got anywhere.
We had a little thing with Mikael, the little reserve.
Yeah, that was surprising to me.
Yeah,
he got to tell his little story.
He got to tell his little story. He's like, man, my brother get mad at me when I'm with my family.
Talking about Marcus, yeah.
Yeah, he like, I'm with my family, because I know if I was in these streets. He said that after the brother got killed, he said, man, if I would have went out there, I know I would have killed somebody and went to jail, or I would have been
killed
dead
myself. Yeah,
and so he said, man, I don't even do that. They ain't me no more.
It was almost like Marcus he felt pressured to be out here in these streets, and I'm wondering, is Marcus still out there doing that? Because it kind of seemed like it. The fact that he's feeling some type of way when Mikael don't go out there in these streets, he's not doing what they used to do as far as selling drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, Mikael said, I got kids.
Yeah, I got a family now.
He's growing up, or he grew up.
Yeah,
and he his little story, and he had something like, it seemed like he was a writer, because everybody had their own little monologues. I'm like, man, this is us type stuff, man.
But it was still relatable, because you remember I used to try to be out here in these streets too, so I understood where he was coming from. But he was saying, I got I got a family to take care of. And then he's like, his girl was, I think he kept saying like Nene or something like that. Like she set me down and she was like, set me down and in front of my daughter, reminded me that we need you.
Yeah.
You know, so you try to, at one point he said after my brother got killed, I felt like I deserved to go out there and kill. Mm-hmm. Because like that's what the world owed me or something like that. Yeah. So I could understand feeling that type of anger. You know, I've lost family members and I lost a cousin recently. And you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. He was murdered outside the convenience store. Yeah. And so you know you get so angry, especially when you hear rumors of who did it. You feel like you deserve to go out there and retaliate when you don't think the police are doing what they're supposed to do. I might as well take it into my own hands because you need to know you can't just attack my family and we don't do anything. So I understood where he was coming from. But his girl sat him down like, hey, we need you. And, you know, seeing his daughter there and hearing it come from his girl, you know, you have to change your mindset and realize that people out here love you. People out here care about you. And you can't always react out of anger like Markis does.
Yeah, and so he had to all the time.
Well, and he explained why later on, but that can't be your go-to all the time. That's what they expect from us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and we always usually get the same ending. You know, either we kill somebody, end up in jail, or we get killed. But that's not the solution.
Not at all. And so after everybody done calmed down, they the brothers came together and, you know, squashed the whatever little beef they had. Mm-hmm. Mel was like, you know, I'm sorry. You know, basically I gotta respect you. You know,
yeah.
I got a little mouth on me, and Mark was like, you know, I got a little anger problem, and I just don't understand you sometimes, and just, you know, be patient with me, and as I try to understand you, you know, and hey.
Melvin brought out the fact that, you know, we're both arguing and saying the same thing, but we're not listening to each other.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be right, both of them trying to be right. So we're not getting anywhere. So it's stupid.
Not at all. And they sit down and eat, and Iyanla was like, you know, well, asking questions, you know, what do you want? Basically, you know, what do you want out of life? Mm-hmm. And we come back to Melvin, and, you know, he was like, basically, he boiled down. He was like doing all these frivolous things and, you know, materialistic things. But then he was like, to be accepted.
Right.
That was his, you know, he finally broke down and said, you know, I want to be accepted. And, you know, she gave him a hug and whatnot. And she's like, you know,
she did a lot of hugging.
Oh, it was buffing time the whole show.
Everybody was in that.
She hugged everybody.
Everybody. And you know what? I believe they needed it.
Yeah.
Iyanla, I feel like she got a really comfortable, mothering, loving bosom.
Come here.
My goodness.
Come here.
Yeah. But, you know, he ended up breaking down, Melvin.
Yeah. And she was like, you know, just say out to the universe what you want, and, you know, it'll come back.
Yeah, right.
You know, you need to basically speak it. And, you know.
Yeah, say what you want. She said it's even okay to want something different tomorrow than what you wanted today. We all get an opportunity to change our lives. And then she was telling Markis she wanted him to be set an example for your boys. You know, be a demonstration for your boys.
Then she's they brought in the father.
Yeah,
and she's like, this is a person you all know. Brought his ass.
But do they know him?
Huh?
Do they know him? Do we know how old they were when the dad left? Because I kept trying to figure out as the episode progressed. Both episodes.
I'm thinking the youngest one probably was probably 4 or 5 or something. I would think.
Okay.
I would think the older ones were more, you know, middle school age or something.
Okay.
Like Markis and Miguel and Michael Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But she had a breakthrough bingo game. And, you know, she was like, he came in, the father, Michael Sr., she was like, when the last time you played a game with your son? He was like, never. And she was like, well, man, you know.
I mean,
that might answer your question.
The fact that they never played a game, but
it must have been earlier.
You know, it could have been earlier.
Yeah.
But he could have just not, you know, even though he had the kids, he just wasn't there still. Just out, you know, hustling or whatever he was doing.
Mm-hmm. They kind of got away from that, but then we went to, like, they sitting on the couches and stuff, and they talking about shared experiences. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you know, who in here have been, you know, felt like they've been abandoned. Mm-hmm. And we moved to Michael Jr.
This was surprising to me.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh man, I'm about to tell you what I thought." And she was like, "You know,
how did you feel abandoned? Like, you know,
abandoned?"
Explain.
He said, "Well, almost like a scholar." well, I felt like I was overlooked, like I was the black sheep. And I'm like,
you didn't expect him to be able to articulate that way, yeah. And so you start to wonder, why have they been kind of ignoring him all this time?
He know words.
He know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So, like, it was weird.
He ain't that dumb.
It made me want to go back to part 1 and try to understand why we didn't let him talk.
When he was discussing the murder, I'm like, okay, it sounded like, he kind of,
he was like
slow,
confused a little bit.
because he was like, then I put the gun in. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. But then when he said that, maybe he have clear-headed moments. I don't know. I don't know. But that dude was so articulate, and I'm like, oh, okay. He said, he felt like, he was invisible. Mm-hmm. And everybody overlooking him. And the other brothers like, get all the love. Yeah. And everybody, all the other brothers was like, yeah, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, they agreed.
And who was it? Melvin was like, we kind of do that to protect them.
Yeah.
And which, and Iyanla was like, that's no good.
Right.
Because
the fact that y'all don't even really talk to him, ask him questions, you made up in your head that he needs protection.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but if this is your brother, I feel like automatically you would build up that defense, to protect him. I feel like it just happens. Whether you know what's going on or not, it's something that I think we would do.
Yeah, and she was like, you got to remember this. He's the first in line.
Yeah.
He's the one that really has it rough. Because the daddy ain't there, so he has to fend for himself. He's the oldest one. He's been here the longest. So he really has no. She said everybody else has somebody above them,
right?
That at least have some type of go to,
right?
But he had nothing. The daddy wasn't there,
so he's
plus he somewhat challenged, And she was like, so has anybody sat down and talked to you? First she said, do you know you have some type of mental challenge? He's like, yes. She said, has somebody or your family just sat down? He's like, no.
He doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. Do you know what you have, or have they diagnosed you? Like, no. And so I don't know. That could be fearful to. I don't know his mind state, but you know that it's a problem there mentally, but you going around. I don't know.
But you also don't know when he came to the understanding that something ain't right.
Yeah.
Because it seems like everybody's being protective.
I think he's very intelligent. We just don't know what his limitations are.
Right.
I believe they just say he's slow.
It also goes back to the whole situation with us not going to the doctor.
You're right.
That's kind of what the family does. I don't know if it's a black thing or what, but I know maybe it's a black man thing. They were raised by their father.
No psych person, no shrink.
We don't want to go to the doctor unless, if I don't see blood and it's like gushing. Because if I see blood, I'm cool. Band-Aid, put some milk on it. Mm-hmm. But if I see it's gushing, then, I might, go into the ER or whatever. But headaches, minor aches and pains or whatever, you man it out. So they probably didn't think that this was a reason to go to the doctor. Like, he ain't as fast as everybody else. We'll deal
with it. I don't know, man. And then they start telling the stories of their abuse. And the day, she was like, Daddy, did you know this? And they was like, well, we ran away. This is when we found out all of them ran away at one time. Mm-hmm. And she was like, did you know they slept in a car and all this? He was like, nah. And she's
not just a car on the side of the highway.
Did somebody just
abandoned car. It's like
they just
they said they would rather sleep there than I guess they were staying with their auntie or something like that. A foster auntie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
So
that's crazy. But it seemed like they were all together though.
At that point in time,
that's what was confusing because it's like at one point y'all weren't together, y'all were just meeting each other, something like that. The next point y'all are together, so it was hard to keep track.
Leave and it's we don't know how that went.
She made sure to point out to this whole senior that the kids did way better than you did parenting them because they're the ones who looked out for each other and took care of each other, try to keep themselves together. And where were you? And him talking about, they would call me and reach out to me. No.
He didn't know nothing. What were you doing? He was doing what he was doing. What Mike Senior wanted to do.
And he was clean on that when he came. He had that old creased jeans and old nice shirt, that old KC hat.
That's what, because before we saw that hat, I'm like, might be they
sound
Midwestern.
Yeah.
I know that sound. I said they got to be Midwestern somewhere.
Yeah, I would have never guessed from Kansas
City. I'm like, oh, they in my backyard.
Yeah,
cousin. Yeah, I'm looking at people. I'm like, do Do I know?
Yeah.
Have I seen him before? You know,
I
when
feel
he
like,
said he had that KC hat on, I'm like, oh.
That's the first thing that stood out to me, that KC hat.
That sounds about right. And we found out later, which gets us to what Iyanla said, after all of this. After all of this, where's the mama?
Where's the mama?
And I realized we haven't said nothing about the mama, really.
Right.
You know, other than the daddy, but why leave the kids?
Yeah, why leave the kids?
You know,
but then too, the kids really haven't said anything about the daddy. It's almost like they wrote their parents off. I thought that was weird. Once she mentioned the mom, I realized they ain't really. I thought they would be angry at the fact, you know, you weren't there for us. Look at all this bullshit we had to go through.
Yeah.
No. They didn't show, well, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see them show any type of outrage towards him.
It wasn't towards him.
For allowing them to go through this.
Yeah, they surroundings, you know.
That was crazy to me. But she asked, where
was the mama?
Where was the mama?
And that's when we go to the mama, and he was
he's still talking to the daddy.
Oh!
And then he was like, California. And she was like, what was she doing in California? Rehab. She said, rehab. And I'm like, she been in rehab all this time and you ain't said nothing.
That's all he gave her was rehab.
And Iyanla's trying to, it's almost like pulling at like teeth, trying to get information.
You know, these one word answers.
Yeah, it was crazy. She's like, well, how long was she in rehab? I don't know. I said, bruh.
California rehab. And
I don't know.
And I don't know. And so now we go to the mama, right? Yeah, because his little thing was craziness. And so we find out she was like, so where were you?
Yeah.
You know, you got, you know, first she's like, what was the relationship? She's like, I got married at 22. You know, I had kids, you know, son after son after son. She was like, you was basically pregnant every year. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah.
Seems like sometimes twice a year.
And she said, well, you know, one thing I can't get out of my head, what would a woman with 7 sons, you know, just up and leave? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, don't have any regard to what's going on? She said, I was smoking crack. And
she got 8 kids, we found out. Yeah, because they mentioned at the part 1 that they had a sister. Yeah. I didn't know where she fell along in this line.
Yeah, we found out she's the oldest one.
She's the oldest child,
and they brought her on, and you know she was asking them basically the same question the boys were with the father. You know, I don't know where you been. You know, I was living with, I guess she was living with the grandmother. Yeah. And she was in and out. She's like, my grandmother tried to help you. And whatnot. She said, I feel like my mama is jealous of me or mad at me because how my grandmother treated me. Mm. And
like it made it seem as if the grandmother treated the grandchild better than she did her.
The mother. And the mother was like, we found out the mother, basically the grandmother didn't treat her good at all. Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna delve into that a little bit more next episode. It seems like
that was a sneak peek on me because I sure didn't know they was having a number 3. Because I'm like, is it almost over? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
the conversation didn't sound.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was about to end.
I said we got like 8 more minutes.
And I'm like, oh man, they got us.
What was surprising also to me is the kind of attitude that the daughter had against the mom.
Yeah.
Not only the fact that she wasn't there, the fact that she wasn't there, she felt like because you're not here, you're with my brothers, and you love my brothers more than you love me. Yeah. So as a child, a parent showing favoritism to the boys versus her.
She thought if she not with her, she must be with the boys.
And she's like, they get to see her, and she may not have been in the same house with them, but they got to see her or whatever. And Iyanla was like, hold on. Yeah. When she kept saying, the boys, like, who's boys? Like, what are you talking about? My brothers. She said, wait a minute. And she went to go and get, who was it, Markis?
Markis.
She went and got Markis so that Markis could tell his sister, what was her sister's name? Iyanla? Kizzy. So that Markis could tell Kizzy that Mama wasn't with us either.
Yeah, we
didn't get to see her. We thought she was with you. And we find out that they kind of felt some type of way about each other, thinking that Mom, when she's not with us, she's with the other,
it's
sibling.
They thinking, well, they got it better because Mama's with, with
and then we see Kizzy got a nice life, Grandma's taking care, and we living in cars. We going from foster home to foster home.
She didn't know that. She didn't know none of that. She said, Iyanla was like, did you know your brothers, lived in a car and was in a foster home? And she was like,
I think she said like between 85 different homes.
Yeah.
Between all of them.
85.
Like, no. that don't even make, I can't.
It's like she wasn't trying to wrap her mind about with it.
She didn't want to believe it.
She didn't want to believe it.
Kids still didn't want to believe it.
She probably grew up with that whole thing and like, oh nah.
Because she's the oldest. She was 38 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she's had all this time to I guess paint this narrative.
Yeah.
And so this one day,
and
Iyanla, no, this ain't gonna change.
It's so much different.
She listened to Iyanla.
Oh,
but she's like, I
know.
I know the real.
She was with the boys.
Mama was with the boys. Yes, exactly.
And the boys like.
She wasn't with us, and they were struggling
because they didn't say nothing about their mama when they was talking to them. Nothing.
And I'm glad that Iyanla let the mom know, like, you're not off the hook. Like you screwed up and wanted to know how in the hell, if you didn't want to take care of your first child, did you go and have 7 other children by we find out another guy? It doesn't make any sense. Like you realize you have an addiction, you on drugs, and she said she gave him 7 children because his mom has 7 children or something like that.
It was some bull. Sound like it sounds like some young shit.
It's
like that's what it sounds like.
But it's irritating because you guys are having children. But children that you can't take care of, and you don't stop. You don't do anything different. You just keep bringing these kids into the world. They have to fend for themselves. That's bullshit.
And you can't even fend for your own self. Let alone
So it's like you don't even care about these kids. You're just bringing them into the world. For what?
They did.
Because it's something to do. I'm like, at no point you thought of protection.
He wanted 7 kids, so
I gave it to him.
I gave him. What type of mess is that?
Anyway, that irritated me.
That was and that's how they leave it with
I want to see the showdown with Iyanla and the parents, like set them straight. Yeah, them two.
I'm pretty sure
I want to hear their story. I know drugs it has something to do with drugs, of course, but I want to know what he did once the state took the kids. Like, did he feel like he was
where were they at once when the kids were when the girls at the grandmother and the boys in the foster home? What were y'all doing?
And what was the plan?
Yeah,
what were y'all doing? Did you just give up on the kids and be like, you know what? The state got them. They'll be okay.
Or did y'all ever even try and say, let's try and work, and then I just succumb to drugs or something? What was y'all doing?
Yes,
basically.
I want to know.
And so hopefully we get those answers in
part 3.
Apparently part 3. Might be. It sounds like you out.
I'm frustrated.
You ran on empty a little bit. you was into it. You wore red for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gangsta. I told you.
Oh, okay. Till next time.
Peace.
Rock chop.